If this message reached your screen at this exact second, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a glitch in the algorithm or a random click. This is the surgical precision of a spiritual calendar hitting its mark. I need you to listen closely. The attack you suffered, the one that seemed to come out of nowhere, where the other person completely flipped the script, gaslit the situation, and played the victim while you were left bleeding out alone. That attack did more than just hurt your feelings. It installed a spiritual restraint structure over specific rooms in your life. What I am about to deliver over the next few minutes isn't a lecture on forgiveness. You've already done the work of forgiveness, or you're walking that path right now. What I'm handing you is about what happens after forgiveness. It's about the GEULAH, the response of the Kinsman-Redeemer, and the exact protocol to activate what the GEULAH releases alongside divine retribution. Everything that was withheld, every blessing that was frozen during the entire duration of that attack, not just a portion, but the total sum, is being triggered. And the timing isn't up to you. It is executed by the goal, the Redeemer, the moment the receiver is finally in position. You are in position right now. Stay with me until the very end, because what is going to be revealed in segment 5 will fundamentally change the way you interpret every single scar in your history, and what each one of them was secretly holding to be released at this precise moment. You were blindsided by someone who had no legitimate reason to come for you. The damage wasn't just emotional. It was concrete. It was measurable. Maybe it was your reputation in your hometown. Maybe it was your finances, or a door that slammed shut in your career. And that wound is still gaping open today. To make matters worse, the very person or situation that swung the axe turned around and posed as the victim. You watched it happen in slow motion, unable to correct the narrative while everyone else seemed to buy the lie. You chose to forgive, or you're trying to, but the damage remains unrepaired. The weight you're carrying isn't common bitterness. It isn't a lack of faith. It is the weight of legitimate, pending justice. You've probably laid awake at night wondering if God actually saw what really happened behind closed doors, or if he only saw the filtered version the world saw through the window. It isn't weakness to remember what was done to you without cause. It isn't a lack of spirituality to demand that justice manifest where injustice took root. There is a sacred space between the honest record of your pain and the question no one seems to answer. When does the Kinsman-Redeemer show up? When does the GEULAH arrive? And what exactly does it bring when it settles the score? You are still standing after everything they tried to break in you, and just by being here, watching this message to this point, you have already proven that the attack failed to finish you. 3 specific things are going to be delivered here before this message ends. First, the exact Hebrew name for what happens when God moves as the Kinsman-Redeemer for those who were attacked unjustly, a word that describes not just the payback, but the payout that the payback unlocks. Second, a 3-cycle protocol to surgically remove what that attack installed in your spirit, positioning you as a receiver for what the GEULAH is bringing. Third, an activation decree that closes the retention cycle installed by that attack over specific areas of your life that have been stuck or regressing ever since that episode. Stay focused. Segment 5 is going to flip the light switch on why certain things were held back and why the timing had to be now. Close your eyes for just a second, or just look away from the distractions around you. What I'm about to show you works best when your attention isn't split. There are 5 signs that you aren't just waiting for things to get better. You are in the active process of GEULAH. The goal, the Redeemer, is already moving even if you haven't seen the physical evidence in the natural world yet. The first sign. The attack came from the inside. It was someone close. Someone you trusted. Someone you never in a million years expected to turn on you. It wasn't a stranger on the street or a random hater online. It was someone who knew your heart. Someone who had access to your table. Someone who knew exactly where to aim to cause the maximum amount of damage. The wrong name you've been giving this is, I was naive to trust them. or I should have seen the red flags, or I let my guard down too much. But here is the spiritual reinterpretation. Attacks from the inside are the ones that require the highest level of GEULAH. Because the damage is deeper, the wound is more structural, and the restraint system installed by an inside job is far more complex than anything an outsider could build. The goal doesn't move with the same intensity for surface-level scratches. He moves with intensity proportional to the depth of the betrayal. If the attack came from the inside, the GEULAH that is coming is going to rebuild you from the inside out. The second sign. The person who attacked you didn't just cause damage. They surgically manipulated the narrative so that you looked like the problem. They made you out to be difficult, unstable, or dramatic. They did this with clinical precision while you were still reeling from the shock. The wrong name you've been using for this is, I should have defended myself better, or I let the lie get too far ahead of me. But the spiritual truth is this. Narrative inversion is the oldest tactic used against the chosen. It doesn't change the spiritual record, it only messes with the human record. And the GEULAH is executed based on the spiritual record, not the human one. Anyone who flips the narrative to dodge accountability is actually signing their own execution papers in the spiritual realm, because the goal doesn't judge based on the public PR campaign. He judges based on the footage only he saw. The third sign. Since that attack happened, a specific area of your life has either completely stalled or started moving backward, and you've never connected the dots spiritually. You've worked on your heart, you've moved on, but that one specific area, maybe your business, your health, or your peace, is just stuck. The wrong name you used was, these are separate issues, or it's just a rough patch, or bad timing. The spiritual reality. Unjust attacks install a retention structure over specific territories. That area didn't stop moving by coincidence. It stopped because the attack installed a MASACH, a blockage, a heavy iron gate. And until that MASACH is shattered spiritually, that area will not budge in the natural. But here is what the GEULAH does. It doesn't just settle the debt with the attacker. It rips the MASACH off its hinges and releases every single blessing that was piled up behind that gate from the moment of the attack until today. Before we go further, there is a full protocol to activate this GEULAH and work through the 3 cycles of unlocking every level of damage: personal, relational, and ancestral. I've put the 21-day miracle journal for unlocking withheld blessings in the first pinned comment. Don't click it yet. Save that link for after you finish tonight's protocol. But keep it ready, because what is revealed after segment 5 will show you why a one-time prayer isn't always enough to clear out the layers of debris. The fourth sign. You've forgiven, but the damage remains unrepaired in the physical world, and that feels heavy in a way that common sadness doesn't. It isn't rage, it isn't a desire for revenge, it is the specific gravity of knowing that something was stolen unjustly and the restitution hasn't arrived. The wrong name you've been using is, if I really forgave, I shouldn't feel this way, or I must still be bitter. That's a lie. The spiritual reinterpretation is this. Forgiveness releases the person, but GEULAH repairs the damage. They are 2 different processes. You can forgive someone 100% and still have a legitimate legal right to the GEULAH. Forgiveness is between you and the attacker. GEULAH is between the goal and the structure of injustice that was left behind. If you confuse forgiveness with waiving your right to restitution, you are operating with an incomplete theology and paying the price in the natural world. The fifth sign. You feel a spiritual debt that is open in your favor, and you can sense that the collection of that debt is imminent. It isn't a fantasy. It isn't your imagination. It is a deep, gut-level perception that something is shifting in the unseen, and the manifestation is at the door. The wrong name you used was, I'm just wishing for karma, or I'm being unspiritual. But the truth is, what you're feeling isn't revenge. It's the frequency of the GEULAH approaching. The Kinsman-Redeemer doesn't usually give a long warning, but he leaves internal pings for those positioned as receivers. What you're feeling right now is your spirit recognizing that the goal is on the move. If 3 out of these 5 signs describe your life right now, you aren't just hoping for justice. You are in the active delivery window. The attack was real. The gaslighting was real. The iron gate over your life is real. And the response that is coming isn't coming empty-handed. It is bringing the back pay for every single day you spent under that weight. Comment right now, "My Redeemer is coming." Decree it before we move forward. A decree before a revelation positions you as an active receiver, not just a spectator of what God is about to do. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you requires your full focus. I'm not giving you extra information. I'm giving you a complete recontextualization of everything you've been calling unanswered injustice. There is a word in the original Hebrew that most English translations completely flatten out. And that loss of meaning has cost entire generations of people who forgave their enemies but never saw their lives restored. That word is GEULAH. Most people treat GEULAH as just redemption, an internal process of healing, a renewal of the mind. And that's not wrong, but it's dangerously incomplete. If you only see GEULAH as feeling better, you miss the external dimension, the action of the Goel, the Kinsman-Redeemer, who moves in the physical world to buy back what was stolen. GEULAH comes from the root Goel. In ancient Hebrew law, the Goel was the Kinsman-Redeemer, the closest relative who had a legal obligation to rescue whatever had been unjustly taken from a family member, whether it was land, freedom, or their name, reputation. In Leviticus 25, if someone lost their property due to debt or crisis, the Goel stepped in, paid the price, and restored that person to their original position. Think about Ruth and Boaz. Boaz didn't just marry Ruth out of kindness. He operated as her Goel. When he stepped into that role, he didn't just give her a nice life. He restored her lineage, her land, and her name, and he did it with a massive surplus. In Isaiah 49:26, God says, "I am your Savior and your Redeemer, your Goel." He isn't just saying he forgives your sins. He is saying he is legally bound by his own nature to act as your Kinsman-Redeemer against every unfair attack you've suffered. GEULAH is not just forgiveness. Forgiveness sets the person free. GEULAH rescues what was taken and adds interest to it. And the timing of the GEULAH isn't determined by the person who was hurt. It's executed by the Redeemer when the receiver is finally ready. What is coming to you isn't just the stuff you lost. It's the stuff you lost, plus the holding fee for every day it was kept from you. The law of the Kinsman-Redeemer isn't about simple return. It's about restoration beyond the damage. Let's apply this to your life. The thing that stopped moving, the career that froze, the relationship that died, the money that vanished, it wasn't lost forever. It was held for the moment of GEULAH. When the Goel acts, he doesn't just give you back the status quo. He compensates you for the period of the hold. What you are sensing right now isn't a pipe dream. It's the sound of the Redeemer's footsteps. The link for the full protocol is still there in the first comment for when you're ready. Let me show you 2 stories, one from the Bible and one from the modern world, to help you see how this works in real life, not just in a theology book. First, Naomi and Ruth. The attack they suffered was death. The death of their husbands, the death of their future, the death of their security. The narrative inversion was the culture that saw them as cursed or worthless widows. Naomi even changed her name to Mara, which means bitter, because she went out full and came back empty. But the GEULAH didn't come in a lightning bolt. It came through the precise legal action of Boaz. Every inch of land that was lost was bought back. The name was restored. The reputation was cleaned, and Naomi, who called herself bitter, ended up holding a grandson who was in the direct line of the Messiah. The GEULAH refused to accept the name that the pain had given her. Now think about a modern insurance policy against unjust damage. The policy doesn't stop the car accident from happening, but it guarantees that when the damage occurs, a payout will follow. You have already paid the premium for your spiritual policy with every tear you cried and every day you stayed silent while they lied about you. The GEULAH is the execution of that policy. And a settled claim doesn't just pay for the repair, it pays for the rental car, the loss of use, and the diminished value. The GOEL doesn't do simple refunds. He does restoration with correction. If you feel the settlement is coming, it's because the spiritual adjusters have already finished the report. These two narratives connect at one point. GEULAH doesn't come for those who are passively waiting for whatever happens to happen. It comes for those who position themselves as active receivers, people who do the spiritual work while the GOEL handles the natural execution. There is a 3-cycle protocol for this, but before I give it to you, you have to understand who you are in this structure. Because an identity crisis will block a GEULAH, even if the check is already in the mail. Let's stop for 1 minute and look at the objective facts of your situation. Fact 1. You were attacked, and the damage was real. Fact 2. A specific area of your life stalled out immediately afterward. Fact 3. You've worked on forgiveness, but the physical repair hasn't arrived. Fact 4. You sense a spiritual shift. These aren't just vibes, they are the data points of a GEULAH scenario. Here is who you are. You are not a permanent victim. You are not the one who got hurt. That is not your name. You are the positioned receiver. There is a massive difference between waiting for a situation to fix itself and being an active receiver of what the goal is executing. An active receiver cleans out the spiritual garage to make room for the new shipment. These are your 3 new functions. First, the rescued. You aren't hoping for a resolution. You are in the process of a rescue operation. Being rescued means you stop trying to fix the narrative yourself. You stop trying to explain things to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You let the Redeemer handle the PR. This identity allows you to wait with certainty instead of anxiety. Second, the GEULAH recipient. You are expecting not just the return of what was stolen, but the interest on it. A positioned recipient doesn't limit the restoration to the size of the original loss. If you lost $3,000, don't just look for $3,000. Look for the GEULAH surplus. This identity authorizes you to expect in abundance without feeling guilty about it. Third, the living witness. What is about to happen in your life is going to be seen by others who were also attacked and don't yet know that a Kinsman-Redeemer exists. Your visible restoration is their proof. You aren't being blessed just to show off. You are being restored to activate their faith. This identity authorizes you to be seen. You don't have to hide your blessing or play small just to avoid making people uncomfortable. A living witness doesn't scream, but they don't hide either. Comment right now which identity you are stepping into. Rescued, recipient, or witness. Decree it before we move on. And if you aren't subscribed yet, do it now. Not for me, but to keep your spiritual ears tuned to this frequency while you walk through this cycle. Now look at that link in the pinned comment. The Miracle Journal. Just keep your eye on it. You're going to need to act on it the moment the decree hits your spirit, not 10 minutes later when logic tries to talk you out of it. Now for the 3-cycle protocol, you can start tonight. I have to be honest, this free protocol will clear the surface level debris, but it won't remove the deep-rooted retaining walls that years of injustice have built. For that, you need the full 21-day deep clean that works through the personal, relational, and ancestral layers. But this is your starting point. Cycle 1, the breaking. You are going to name the specific attack. Don't be vague. Name the person or the situation and the specific area that stopped moving. Here is the decree. I name the attack of situation, GEULAH person. I name the damage in area. I break the retention structure installed by this attack. By the blood of my goal, this gate closes and the lock is shattered now. When you name it, you strip away its invisibility. When you apply the blood, you are invoking the legal authority of the Redeemer who already paid the price for your total freedom. Cycle 2. The cleansing. You are going to wash away the residue of the attack, the inverted narrative, the gaslighting, the identity of being the one who was cheated. Decree this. I cleanse every lie that was told about me. I wash off the weight of unrepaired injustice. I refuse to carry the label of the victim any longer. I am clean from their narrative. It does not stick to me. This is a spiritual removal of the soot that stays on you even after the fire is out. Forgiveness releases them. Cleansing releases it. Cycle 3. The possession. You are going to position yourself as an active receiver. Physically open your hands right now. Palms up. Decree this. I position myself as a receiver of the GEULAH. My goal is moving in the natural. What was taken is returning with interest. I open my hands. I receive my restoration, my surplus, and my peace. I take possession of it now. Possession isn't about taking by force. It's about accepting the delivery. The sign that this protocol worked isn't a shouting high. It's a very specific, quiet peace. A peace that says, it's handled. It's different from resignation. It's the peace of someone who knows the check has been cleared and is just waiting for the mailman to walk up the driveway. Now for the full work. The 21-day miracle journal goes much deeper because an unjust attack doesn't just install one lock. It installs layers. There is the personal lock over your self-worth. There is the relational lock over how others see you. And there is the lineage lock over what you're supposed to pass down to your kids. The free protocol breaks the surface. The journal drills through all 3 layers until the restraint structure is totally gone. Day 1-7, breaking the personal blockage. Day 8-114, cleansing the relational blockage. Day 15-21, activating the possession of the surplus. By the end of those 21 days, you aren't just over it. You are standing on top of the restoration. It comes with 2 essential tools. First, the prayer guide, 15 specific targeted prayers, including the Redeemer Kinsman activation, the narrative breaker prayer, and the MASACH removal decree. You don't just pray these, you fire them like spiritual missiles. Second, the manual of Psalms, 10 specific psalms of rescue with guided meditations to turn those ancient words into modern weapons. The cost of this journal is less than a family pizza night, less than a couple of lattes and a bagel at the coffee shop, less than a kid's happy meal. I'm not saying that to devalue it. I'm saying it to show you that the price isn't what stops people. What stops people is the hesitation structure that the attack itself installed. That voice that says, maybe later, or I don't need this, is actually the lock trying to protect itself from being broken. You recognize that voice now. It isn't prudence, it's the hold trying to stay in place. There's a 7-day guarantee. If you do the work and don't feel the shift, get your money back. Keep the bonuses. No questions. But the real cost isn't the price of the journal. The real cost is another week, another month, another year of living with that hold in place. Every day you wait is a day that your surplus stays in the warehouse because the protocol wasn't activated. Link is in the first comment. Don't leave yet. What's coming next is what separates the people who understand GEULAH from the people who experience it. 3 people did this work recently, and their results weren't theological, they were natural. First, a 48-year-old man, let's call him Mark. He was betrayed by a business partner 2 years ago, lost his savings, lost his reputation in the local industry. He worked cycle 1 on day 4 of the journal. On day 16, he received a settlement offer from a completely different, unrelated source, an old investment he'd forgotten about that suddenly paid out with massive interest. The GEULAH didn't come from the source of the attack. It came from where the goal chose to bring it. Second, a 43-year-old woman, Sarah. She was the victim of a smear campaign at her church that destroyed her social circle. She worked cycle 2 on day 7, specifically cleaning the inverted narrative. On day 19, one of the people who had turned against her called her out of the blue. They said, "I haven't been able to sleep for months. I realized I was wrong about you." The GEULAH didn't force the person. It just removed the blindness that was keeping the truth out. Third, a 50-year-old woman, Linda. A family attack that had lasted a decade where she was always the problem child while she was actually the one doing all the work. On day 21, the final day, a relative who had been silent for years finally spoke up at a family dinner, correcting the narrative without Linda saying a single word. The GEULAH brought public repair in God's timing. All three of these people had one thing in common. They didn't feel like it was working when they started. They just positioned themselves as receivers, and the goal handled the when and the how. Now listen, I need to warn you. In the next 72 hours, 3 specific tactics are going to be launched against you. This isn't a maybe, it's a certainty. The enemy doesn't let a GEULAH protocol get activated without a fight. Tactic 1, fresh bitterness. Because you are naming the attack, the memory is going to get vivid. The enemy will try to use that vividness to pull you back into anger. Remember, a vivid memory isn't bitterness, it's precision. Use the memory to name the lock, but don't feed the fire. Tactic 2, the attacker's defense. You're going to get a thought that says, maybe I'm being too hard on them, or maybe I was part of the problem too. This is a tactic to get you to waive your rights to the GEULAH by confusing empathy with denying the damage. You can have empathy for someone and still require the goal to fix the injustice. Justice and empathy aren't enemies. Tactic 3, the renewed attack. Something small but annoying will happen in the next 3 days from the same source or a similar one. The enemy wants you to think, see, it's not working. I'm still being attacked. But the truth is, a renewed attack is a sign that the goal is getting close and the enemy is panicking. It's not a sign of failure. It's a sign of proximity. And the fourth most subtle tactic, premature satisfaction. You'll start fantasizing about how great it will feel when the person gets what's coming to them. The enemy wants to move you from being a receiver of your blessing to a spectator of their judgment. If you become a spectator, you lose your receiver position. Don't look back at them. Look forward at the Redeemer. GEULAH isn't about their punishment. It's about your restoration. The cost of ignoring this is measurable. Today, the hold stays. Another week goes by with that area of your life stuck in the mud. Another year goes by with an incomplete identity. The goal is waiting for you to open the door so he can bring the shipment in. Click that link in the pinned comment. But before you do, we need to seal this. Open your hands again. Palms up. Receiver posture. I let go of the identity of the victim forever. Say it out loud. I let go. I let go of waiting for human apologies before I move. I let go. I let go of the bitterness of the gaslighting. I let go. I let go of trying to be my own judge and jury. I let go. I let go of the weight of the unrepaired debt. I let it go now. I receive my 3 identities. I am the rescued because my goal is already at work. I am the recipient because the surplus is coming. I am the witness because my life will be the proof. I receive it now. Now, listen to the Father's voice. I saw the attack. I saw the night you were blindsided. I saw them flip the script while you sat in the dark wondering what you did wrong. I saw every lie that was told about you, and I didn't just archive it. I recorded it for execution. The goal isn't late. He was waiting for you to stop trying to fight a spiritual battle with natural words. You are in position now. Open your hands wide. What I am bringing is larger than what was taken. I saw the times you tried to explain yourself and no one listened. I saw you carry the weight while they walked away laughing. I saw it all. And because I saw it, I am the one who settles it. The GEULAH is moving. The MASACH is being ripped off its hinges. The timing is mine, and the power is mine, and the surplus is yours. Over your mind, I decree a shield against every tactic of the enemy. Over your relationships, I decree a restoration that goes beyond words. Over your stalled area, I decree the release of the withheld. Everything that was stuck behind that gate since the day of the attack is now flowing toward you with the GEULAH interest added to it. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Don't say amen yet. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Amen. Comment now. My GEULAH is active. Decree it publicly. Public decrees activate protocols that private thoughts cannot reach. Click that link now while the fire is still in your chest. Not tomorrow. Not after you sleep on it. Not after you ask someone's logical opinion. Because the first person you talk to will have a reasonable doubt that will cost you your breakthrough. That voice whispering later isn't yours. It knows your excuses, but it's the voice of the one who lost today and is trying to claw back ground. Click before the hesitation drowns out the decree. The miracle journal is in the pinned comment. The goal is moving. Don't close your hands now. There is one specific person who was also attacked and is still carrying that cross alone. They don't know the goal is real. They don't know there's a protocol. Send this to them right now. Not a group. That one person who just came to your mind. Their timing might be connected to your obedience. In the next message, I'm going to show you why the surplus sometimes scares people more than the loss, and how to expand your capacity to carry what's coming. Don't miss it. It is done. You are not the same person who started this video. Count on it.